For decades, the global conversation has revolved around a singular question. Will China be the next superpower, succeeding or rivaling the United States? But what if that question fundamentally misunderstands China's ambitions? What if Beijing isn't merely aiming to replace a hegemon? What if they are redefining global influence entirely? To understand China's future, we must first look to its past. The concept of a superpower is a modern Western construct. Historically, China saw itself as the Zhongguo, the Middle Kingdom. It wasn't just a nation. It was the cultural and economic center of the world, radiating influence outwards rather than conquering inward. But this self-perception was shattered by what is now called the Century of Humiliation, a period of forced treaties and foreign occupation. From the mid-19th to mid-20th centuries, China was carved up by colonial powers. It taught them a painful, lasting lesson. Vulnerability invites exploitation. This era isn't just a historical footnote. It is the psychological bedrock of modern Chinese foreign policy. The economic reforms of Deng Xiaoping were a direct response to this trauma. The goal was simple: national rejuvenation. It wasn't just about wealth. It was about ensuring China would never again be subject to the whims or mercy of foreign powers. While the West focused on the end of history and the spread of democracy, China focused on the recovery of its historical status. This set the stage for a transformation the world had never seen: a rise built on concrete, silicon, and long-term industrial planning. While Western nations often debated economic theory and social shifts, China simply got to work building the physical world. They invested massively in manufacturing and logistics, understanding that tangible assets, not just finance, underpin true lasting power. Fast forward to today, China isn't just catching up. In critical 21st century sectors, they are already sprinting far ahead. We are talking about the world's largest deployment of AI, complete automation in ports, and total leadership in electric vehicle supply chains. They dominate renewable energy manufacturing. From solar panels to wind turbines, China owns the green future the West only talks about. This isn't just domestic growth. It's the engine behind the Belt and Road Initiative, the most ambitious global infrastructure project in history. While the West frames this as debt-trap diplomacy, many nations in the global South see it very differently. For them, China offers something the West has neglected for decades: the capital and expertise to build roads, bridges, and power plants. China understands the pain of the global South because they lived it. They speak the language of development, not just values. This brings us to a crucial distinction in geopolitics. China acts as the manager, focusing on meticulous planning and tangible outcomes. The West, by contrast, often plays the missionary, promoting political ideals and systems, often at the expense of practical, immediate needs. Beijing doesn't care how you govern your country, as long as the trade flows and the infrastructure is built to their standards. While Western powers were bogged down in costly wars and nation-building in the Middle East, China was busy signing trade deals. They aren't looking to export a revolution. They are looking to integrate the world into an economic sphere centered in Beijing. This is a pivot from military hegemony to infrastructural hegemony. If you own the ports, you don't need to own the land. Today, China is the indispensable center of the global economy. Every major supply chain for modern life runs through them. From the microchips in your phone to the rare earth minerals in your car, the world is physically tied to Chinese factories. Their ambition now shifts to technological sovereignty. They are building their own operating systems and semiconductor industries from scratch. They are launching their own space stations and digital currencies, aiming to decouple from a Western-led financial system. This is a deliberate effort to create an alternative global system, one where Western sanctions can no longer bite or isolate them. Western democracies are often trapped in 4-year election cycles and constant political gridlock that stalls progress. China, however, benefits from a centralized, long-term vision that allows them to execute grand strategies spanning 30 to 50 years. They can build entire cities and high-speed rail networks in the time it takes a Western city to approve a single subway line. This efficiency is their most persuasive argument to the rest of the world. Our system produces results. Theirs produces debates. So does China want to be the next superpower in the traditional sense? We must look beyond the 20th century definition. A superpower usually dictates through military might. But China's strategy appears more subtle and potentially more enduring. They seek to be the undisputed economic sun of a multipolar world. A center of gravity that nations orbit by choice or necessity. Imagine a world where nations align with China not because of a treaty, but because their entire economy depends on Chinese tech standards. If your 5G, your electric grid, and your digital payments are all Chinese-built, you are already in their sphere of influence. This isn't about traditional conquest. It's about creating a system where all roads, digital and physical, lead back to Beijing. It is about becoming the irreplaceable engine of global prosperity. If they are the engine, they get to decide the destination. The West frames this as a threat. But to a country in Africa or, say, Asia, it looks like a path out of poverty. This development-first approach is China's most powerful tool. It is a soft power built on hard steel and high-speed fiber. The Western media often focuses on the China threat, a zero-sum game for global dominance between two giants. But what if this narrative blinds us? What if the goal isn't to destroy the old order, but to slowly recenter it? China doesn't need to replace the UN or the World Bank if they can simply build better, more efficient versions alongside them. As we face global challenges like climate change and resource scarcity, the old models of rivalry seem increasingly fragile. China's model of long-term planning offers a stark alternative to the reactive, crisis-to-crisis management of the West. We are entering an era where power is measured by connectivity and supply chain control, not just nuclear warheads. In this new landscape, China has already captured the high ground while the rest of the world was still debating the map. Does China want to be the next superpower? Perhaps the word superpower is too small for what they are building. They are aiming for indispensability, a state where no global problem can be solved and no product can be made without them. The question for the West is no longer, how do we stop them? But how do we compete in a world they have already started building? Because while one side is focused on the next election, the other is focused on the next century. History shows us that the center of the world moves to where the most progress is being made. Whether it's a superpower or something else, the world of 2050 is being designed in the factories and labs of China today. The Middle Kingdom is no longer a historical memory. It is a modern, digital reality that is already here. The real question isn't what China wants to be. It's whether the world is ready for what they've already become. Thanks for watching. If you liked the video, don't forget to hit like and subscribe for more interesting videos coming soon.